something that is very, very interesting in how people approach it. This is a quote by Emma Thompson. I'm going to read it. Any problem, big or small, within a business, a church, or a home, always seems to start with bad communication. Someone isn't listening. I'm going to show you a way to do it, which is a great image and no more than 7 words on the screen. Those are the magic numbers. No more than 7 words and a beautiful image that absolutely adds value to what you're saying. Real quick, if I showed you a picture of my home, and then I showed you a picture of it decorated for Christmas or for Halloween, it was just decked out, and it didn't even look like the same house, and it was unbelievable knockout, I'd say, I want to teach you how to do that. Boom, you got it in one picture, and there was no words attached at all. If you're going to put up a PowerPoint with more than 7 words, you might as well just sit down because they ain't looking at you anymore. The human mind just went whoop, and they went into trance, and you lost them. So, any problem, big or small, within a business, a church, or a home, starts with bad communication. Someone isn't listening. Emma Thompson. Do you see the difference? One you'll remember, and one you'll forget the minute I go to the next slide. Especially the big dog, little dog. You remember the images, because we're visual creatures. Okay. Movement. Are you going to use a circle like they do at TED? Or are you going to use a circle like they do at TED? Are you going to restrict their movement?
I would believe so, because I believe some people are going to be on stage just the way that if we have TED Talks there, or they're going to use visual aids like you have.
They could just be standing here. Cool.
They could be standing there, but I would say, and I'll ask people what they would like to do.
Podium. They don't
right, so the podium will not be there.
Okay.
Basically, someone like Adam, who's going to give the history of 408. So the people have, because of this small space right here, probably give them the option of being there, kind of like right there. Spotlight actually would be really
you do
good.
Like a circle?
Yeah, I would go there, and then we'll have the time.
We can get around rug and just say the
Right.
reason TED does that is so they can record you.
Okay.
Now, on the big stage, it's a little different. In the TEDx's, and when they have the smaller talks at TED, it's a circle, so you don't leave that circle. And then the camera guys aren't doing this, so the camera guys.
Right, because there'll be 2 cameras here.
Okay.
So
we'll put it like right here.
right, and there'll be one coming from the side.
You can always
Very
reference the
white
screen.
voice.
If you want people to look at the screen, turn and look at the screen. I don't know how that. If you were home, you wouldn't go look at the TV. You go look at the TV. Be natural, be normal.
Well, see, the way that you're at right now gives people, like if you were on stage, you're kind of like blending in with the television or with the screen. Here, if they have movement around there or in that area right there to step back, people could see it from back there. So we'll see how it goes.
We could also put the screen over there and put it in center people too if we wanted to, and just project it if we wanted.
That's a good possibility.
Okay.
Because it's kind of like, can all of you, Tim, can you see it with the person?
Here's what I think might happen. I'm here. I'm not favoring them at all.
Right.
If
because it's almost like
I can turn here and I can turn here. And I can
since this is more intimate than, say, a hall or an auditorium, where you can make connections or not make connections. You can do that. So it's kind of like once we come back, we have one more week or 2 weeks before the actual. So I would kind of ask people what they're going to do. Are they going to use visual? Because if everyone has to go up there and plug in, that could be a situation.
Let me ask a question, because I see TED Talk without visuals and I see them with. Are we going to have a criteria where we are required to use a visual or not?
I would say not, because some people have that sort of props.
Props can be really cool.
Yeah, I think so too. All I would probably leave, because I've changed the color of the TED Talk or the TED Talk from red to almost like gold, almost like Toastmaster colors to differentiate. So it's kind of like watching you today has given me some ideas, and so it's kind of like in
So
watching.
you're not gonna have visuals?
Yeah, they can have visuals, props, whatever they want.
Okay.
I just want to make sure,
Okay.
because if you're plugging in, just like you had a situation, are we going to have Wi-Fi? Because that's a situation.
Okay.
Because Wi-Fi, people can walk around and go like that. But I'm not I'm not sure about the Wi-Fi because at this point right now I can't.
Okay.
And then Mark said they get their Wi-Fi from Bruno's Pizza.
So movement, let's just go over some basic movement. A good way to move is starting your headline here. And always thinking at the end, I'm going to move slightly forward, and I'm going to move my story from my right to my left, and here's why. I'm starting my headline here, I come over here to start my talk. As I progress my talk, I get to here. This is the past, this is the future for you. For me, it's opposite. But for you, I'm playing to you. So when you move this direction and you get to the future, if you want to, you can step out here, because some people say, I want to move forward. That's fine. You can move forward from here, but since it's a circle, you're limited. You can move here. But you never want to step back into where you were. People get anchored, especially if you told a very powerful story right here, and you move on now that we're past that, and then you go back here. The minute you hit this, you'll say, what happened to my audience? Because they just emotionally went right back to where you were, because it was so powerful here. So as you move, where you move, you anchor people. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay.
No, I'm not really comprehending. Past powerful event, that would be fine.
No, I'm saying as you progress chronologically with your talk. And this is, all I'm saying in general is be very purposeful in your movement. Plan it out. When you get up there, the last thing you should worry about is where you're moving and what you're going to say. Be worried about connecting. The only thing you should be thinking about is connecting with that audience. You should have your content down, and you should have your movement down. So when you move, you should start back here. Start in the center, start back here, start center with your audience. Give your headline or your opening story, your opening bit to get them curious and leaning in. Why should we listen to this person? And then walk here and give some of the background, some of the sub-points. Here's another sub-point. Here's another sub-point. Here's my action area. This is what you do with all this. This is pretty much you're concluding now. This is what you do with all this. This is how you do it. And then you can come out here to just cap it if you want. Or just stay here. You can end it here. But just as simple this way. And the brain goes, oh, we're progressing, we're progressing. To you, we're progressing. If I start going back this way, and what you want to do next, what you want to do next, see how this movement just works better for you? Because our minds go, because in America, our culture is a straight line. So that works. Other cultures I don't know necessarily work as well. Especially like the Hindu culture, it's a circle. But in our culture, in a linear culture, this works great.
We move left to right, we read left to right, we progress left to right.
Right. It's always the future. When you're talking about the past, you go over here. When I was a little boy, okay, now that I'm grown up, okay, so this is always the past, this is always the future.
What do you think about the idea of if you're moving from there to there, you're a tall guy, you're in front of your...
Oh yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about.
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Logistics of...
We're talking about maybe putting a projector over here and just doing it over here.
So that's what
and using one of these.
You're saying having, what you said, a projector or moving this whole screen?
No, we wouldn't even use this at all.
Just turn that off and use it, put a projector.
Just a
Projector
We may put like the TED Talk
Yeah,
there
put the
and
logo.
like that, and then when you're talking, maybe dim it and put it
We
there.
could have two projectors, projected one here and one there.
We could.
If we have a tech
Martin knows how to do
person.
that.
I think you're making too much of a minute issue, because even if you're in the center and the screen's behind you, if this is your pertinent point, we should be looking at you anyhow and
Yeah.
not the screen. So I don't think that the screen is going to play that huge of a factor. If we're using PowerPoint to do a Todd Talk, we're probably missing the point of doing the talk in the first place.
Well, it depends, like I said, like
It's a mix.
with the
Go
two
ahead.
houses, I would use that if I was just talking about how to do Christmas lights, that's what I would show you, those two images, and I probably wouldn't put another image up,
Right,
because I've got you.
right.
if you're interested in that kind of thing.
Would PowerPoint protocol be to dark that screen anyway when you're done with your point, so you don't have the image back there?
That's exactly what they do.
Right,
So
unless,
you just put black slides in between.
Yeah.
You just hit it.
Right. Look on your.
Any questions about this? I mean, it's very basic. I mean, you can get really advanced, especially like you can anchor people with how you do certain expressions and things, and then use them later on to bring it back. I mean, that's real advanced stuff. And I'm nowhere near there personally. I'm just working on that stuff. But this is if you watch professional speakers, that's what they do. They literally do that, and they anchor you, especially comedians. They work hours and hours on hours on how to move their body specifically to bring the laugh back when they need it. And you'll actually catch yourself going, "Don't do it, don't do it." And all they're doing is like going like this. You know, C.K. Lewis is phenomenal at that. Spends hours and hours just learning how to anchor you so he does a certain thing. It's like you walk in your house and your spouse is doing just something like this, you know, just something, and you know exactly what that means, and no one else on the earth knows what that means, but you know what it means because it's anchored. You know what I'm saying? Okay? You know, yeah. Okay. One other thing, if you're going to use a prop, this is really important. So I want to show you a prop. Okay, I didn't go like this. I didn't do this. I want to show you something. I traded my prop with reverence. I treated my prop like I want you to treat my prop. So if you don't give it reverence, if you don't give it emotional, if you don't show that you care about it, we're not going to care about it. So you have to treat your props well. And the more you treat it, the more we're going to go like, what's he got? What's he got? I was watching a woman. She was bent down like this. And she's taking pictures, I believe, of mushrooms. She's like this. And I come out of the, it was at the eye care center over here. And I come out, and I'm walking down the sidewalk. She goes, "Oh, hi." She walks away with it. She would have done this to me. She would have done this. I would have been like this. Right?
yeah.
Right? Here's another thing, too, when you're speaking. Let's say you have to get a drink of water. Let's say you have to. You just do not change your emotional context where you are emotionally. You stay where you're at, and you walk over, and you get a glass of water. And people will watch like, "Oh, my gosh, he's getting a glass of water." Okay. And they'll watch you, and you put it down, and you go right back. It's when you go like, "I am so thirsty. Excuse me," you know, and you do this.
Just 1 minute.
That feels good. Okay, where were we? You lose them. You lose them. And any distractions you can see, minimize them. Because honestly, if we had that screen tilted a certain way, and there was a flash over here when I was speaking one time, and it wasn't about me. We're human beings. There's a flash. We look, what's going on? Everybody turned, and I lost my whole audience. Like that fast. So pay attention to distractions. Know your room. Know what's going on. And take care of it. And if you do see a flash, here's something I learned because I talked about that to my speaking coach. I said, I saw this happen. He goes, always play with what's in the room. Whatever happens, don't act like you're being put out. Say, well, I don't think it was a muzzle. You know, have some fun with it. I watched Jim Tressel do it. I just spoke with Jim Tressel last Wednesday, and he's talking, and somebody literally got up and walked down. He goes, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was that bad. I mean, he's right in the middle of his talk. He just said it. But he was having fun with the person. And it was okay, because everybody said, you could tell by the way the person left, like it was kind of rude. But he just had fun with it. He didn't allow his speech in there. Now, this isn't for Toastmasters. I'm talking about if something happens, play with it, use it. Use what's in front of you, be normal. If you're at your home talking in your backyard and the grill blows up, you're not going to keep talking.
You have to recognize the elephant in the room because everybody sees it. You got to talk about it.
Right. Use what you have.